I'm Frank Hartman with the Hartman Law Firm, and I'm a practicing attorney in Charleston, South Carolina, specializing in auto accidents and personal injury. And today we're answering the question, what is gap insurance and why is it important to you? I run into this a good bit with a lot of my clients. Pretty much anybody who's in a situation where they have a car that is financed by an outside lender needs to have gap insurance in place, and I'll explain why. A classic hypothetical is going to be a case in which you're involved in a car accident and your car is totaled. Let's just say it's a 2004 Ford Explorer. You paid $10,500 for it 2 years ago. Unfortunately, the Blue Book value of that car is going to be maybe $6,000, $5,500 because of the markup of the dealer when you bought the car originally. Naturally, you're going to have to borrow that money, plus whatever down payment you come up with, you're going to have to borrow that money from a lender. And if you do not have gap insurance, this is where the math actually breaks down for you. When the insurance company for the defendant eventually totals out your vehicle and they hand you a check for $6,000, that check, first of all, is going to go directly to your lender. You're not actually going to get it, which is fine because it needs to go there in order to pay off the overwhelming majority of what it is that you owe. However, the additional $4,500 that you owed on your note for your car is still out there and viable to be collected by the lender from which you borrowed the money. If you do not have gap insurance in place, you are still on the hook for that $4,500. Most of my clients, chances are this is their primary vehicle or it's their only vehicle, and it's usually their means to get back and forth to work. So now not only can they not make it to work, but they're also stuck with being injured, and they have an additional $4,500 that they have to pay their lender. Plus, they get the joy of going out and trying to find the money to buy a new car to get back and forth to work with the burden of this particular $4,500 that they still owe. Really, the only option that you have at that point is you can try to finance that debt into the car that you're about to purchase, and you're going to have to find a really good lender, someone who's really willing to work with you, and that's going to be a difficult proposition, I have to tell you, to find a lender who's willing to do that, because essentially they're giving you $4,000 in addition to whatever it is you're borrowing for the new vehicle, and they have absolutely nothing to show for it, nothing that they can actually seize to get that $4,000 back. They're doing it on good faith, and that's a highly unlikely scenario. So what I find is that my clients are in a bind where they owe that kind of money, and then they call me and they want to know, well, what is it that we should have done in order to protect ourselves in this particular situation? You have to buy what's called gap insurance, and apparently this is a closely held secret in the auto insurance industry, which is kind of strange because a lot of times lenders will require you to have gap insurance, but sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Either way, you need to be aware of it and you need to secure it if you're in a situation in which you owe considerably more than what your car is actually worth, because if that's the case, you're going to be left on the hook for a substantial amount of money and you're not going to have anything to show for it. Go out, Google gap insurance, find yourself a third-party insurance company that's specific to gap insurance, and purchase a policy for your vehicle so that you don't find yourself in this scenario in which you get into a car wreck, you're hurt, you can't get back and forth to work, and on top of everything else, you owe an additional $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. I've seen it as much as 10 or 11 in some instances. I really can't tell my clients anything. I just tell them that they're kind of in the position that they're in and to make the best of it. So my suggestion to you, the public, would be get some gap insurance. This is Frank Hartman with the Hartman Law Firm. If you're watching this video and you have questions about gap insurance or auto accidents generally, I would ask you to pick up the telephone and call me at 843-300-7600, or feel free to look me up at thehartmanlawfirm.com. And again, thanks for watching.